Hello friends! As you guys can see, today we're going to do a get ready with me. I wanted to sit down as my first video back and share with you guys some new makeup products that I have, but as well to let you guys know how my trip went. It was a long trip, but not in a bad way per se, but it extended itself, which I technically wasn't mad about, but maybe some of us were, but I wasn't at least. So today I want to feature some of the makeup that I did get from Flower Nose. This is their Midsummer Fairy Tale collection. It is, you guys know, it is so beautiful. I am just excited about this. As you guys can see, this is the eyeshadow palette we'll be using today. Some of these are just like, I don't even want to use them because they're so pretty, but I have them here. They sent the collection out right before I left on vacation, so I knew that at some point I wanted to do a video with these products, and what better way than to share with you guys exactly how my trip went. So all the products that I'm going to be using will be down in the description box so you guys know. This is only my second time doing my makeup since I've been back. So it kind of felt like we were gone for a really long time because we left at the end of July and came back almost mid-August. Kind of, in a way. So when we left, we had to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. We had to be at the airport 2 hours before our flight. Our flight left at 5 o'clock in the morning. That was the only flight out that whole entire day to the airport. So we had no choice, had absolutely no choice but to make it at that time. So we did. We were exhausted, let me tell you, but the kids, I always say that my kids are so hyper. My kids are so active that when it comes to traveling, they are really good at it. So they don't complain, they go with the flow, they get up whenever they need to, they sleep wherever they need to, and when we tell them we got to get up and go, like, they're on it. They are on it. I cannot complain. They're not the kids that are crying and whining and complaining that they don't want to do this. Nope, they have so much energy that they just go. And I mean, to tell you, the whole entire trip, we had absolutely no complaints whatsoever as far as our kids went when it came to travel. Other things, that's a different story. So we arrived at Florida around 8:30 in the morning, and we got our rental car. Every time we travel and we have the kids, we always get a minivan. I'm not a minivan person in general. Like, I don't have a minivan, don't want a minivan. I don't want to have that cliche. But when we're on vacation, why not? It's just spacious for everyone. It fits everything. And we don't have the kids complaining about, you're sitting on my side, you're taking up my space, because the kids will complain about that. Oh, geez. So we always have a spacious car so everyone can sit in there. And not to mention, we were going to pick up my mother-in-law. I do have two mother-in-laws. So this is Mr. Man's biological mom that we went to go pick up because she was going to spend some time with us. So we wanted something where it also fit her comfortably and not like a small sedan where we're all squished. So we ended up getting a van. It was funny because we were from Jersey in Florida with Oklahoma tags. So we had an Oklahoma van, which was pretty funny. I found that funny. We ended up flying into Fort Myers. That's where we were going to stay. That's where we had a house. This was our first time doing an Airbnb, and we got a house in Cape Coral. So we arrived, we were starving because we were up since 2 o'clock in the morning and it was already 8 o'clock. So we just did a quick breakfast, and I don't know if you know, but in New Jersey, you're known for diners. Like, diners are amazing for breakfast. I've yet to find a diner here in our area that sucks. So good. Well, we forgot that in Florida, you don't have many diners. So we had to hurry up and find a breakfast, so we had no choice but at 8 o'clock in the morning just to go to McDonald's and get a breakfast, just to, get the kids going, get us going. So we ended up just eating at McDonald's, found the house that we are staying at. Beautiful home, by the way. Very, very beautiful home. We had 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, in-ground pool, and they had so many amenities. They were right by a canal. So we had a dock that we could sit in and watch. Apparently they have turtles and fish that we actually fed while we were there. We named them Tommy and Tammy and Tommy Turtle. They would come and visit us so we could feed them. So we fed the animals. We can go kayaking on there. We had bikes to deal with. So we had a lot of amenities in this house, which is awesome. Very, very nice. It was spacious, but not super huge. So we had our own bedroom with the master bath. And then the kids shared one room. Little man was on an air mattress because then we gave the third room to my mother-in-law so then she could have a room for herself. And obviously little man doesn't care. He's just like, whatever, I'm just here. So the kids didn't complain about it. The girls had the one room because obviously they're the girls. So we dropped off our stuff the first day. And then, you guys, the whole point of my trip to Florida was to go spend some time with my grandmother. I don't know if I mentioned it here. I know that my members know that my grandmother had a serious stroke back in May. So the whole point of this trip was to go see her. I wanted to see her before she got worse or got another stroke and could not recognize anyone. So this last stroke that she had was so severe that she really can't function her body. She's stuck on a wheelchair. She needs assistance at all times to do anything. She is mentally there, so she recognizes you. Before the stroke, she still could speak and she had a little bit of a stutter. But now with this last stroke, she can no longer really talk to you. It's very hard for her to get words out. It's more like moans and groans and laughter and excitement in her face. You could see it. Her face expressions are all there. So you could tell like when she wants something according to her face expression. I wanted to see her and originally I was going to go by myself to Florida to go see her. And then my oldest wanted to come with me because my oldest was raised by my grandmother for like her first year and a half of life. So she wanted to see her. And then Mr. Man's like, well, how about we just make it a family trip? So we did this last minute. It was not planned. We weren't going to do any major trips this year. But it turned out that it worked out in our favor as far as cost and things. So we ended up all going and we all wanted to see my grandmother. Like if this is going to be the last time where she's like a lot awake and alert, because we don't know what the future holds. We at least wanted to get it in and not go to Florida when we were burying her, basically. So we ended up from Fort Myers to where my aunt lives, close to, like, she lives in Miami, but the suburbs of Miami, I guess you want to call it. So it was like a 2.5 hour drive, you guys. So mind you, we've been up since 2 o'clock in the morning. We got to the house around like 8:39 after we had breakfast, or more like 9:30. 9:30, 10, because the airport was only like 20 minutes away from where we were staying, so it wasn't a big deal. We dropped off everything. We kind of situated ourselves. And then came the long ride. All right, guys, I'm going to use this one. This is the Paradise Lost. This is the darker of the highlighters. Look how pretty that is. I don't want to ruin it, but we're going to ruin it. I'm trying to be good at not wanting to not ruin stuff. What I'm going to do his face. Oh, doesn't really ruin it that much. Okay. It's really embossed. Oh, that's pretty. It's a little bit light for me because if you can't tell, I got a tan. Let me hire this up. I know I'm pretty I brightened up the light so then that way you guys can see me a little bit better. But you guys, I got a major tan. Florida sun is different from Jersey sun, and I already had a tan here. And down there, we all got even darker. We all got even darker, which is fine. I don't care. I'm excited about it. So that's a pretty highlight. It's a little bit light for me right now, but I'll make it work because that's why I put it down first so then I can put the blush on top. So anyway, we left Fort Myers around like 10 and we drove all the way down. I have 2 blushes to pick one. This is the one that they sent me, but this is way too bright for me right now. It just won't work for my complexion. So I do have this one that I got last time, and this is the Romantic Blossom one. And I think this one will work a lot better for me, so I'm going to use this one with the brush that they sent. It's the, I forget what it's like, some sort of like strawberry cherry brush or something. So we're just gonna look how pretty that design is. Isn't that pretty? Oh my gosh, you guys, I want to keep these like when the blush is gone and just keep it as a compact to look at myself in the mirror. These are just so dainty and cute, and they have weight to them. So anyway, look how bright that is. We drove down. We had to take, I'm sure most of you know Florida or have been to Florida. We took Alligator Alley or Alligator Alley or Alligator Way. I can't remember. I will say, we drive here a lot. We drive on the Parkway, Expressway, that kind of stuff. And it's like an hour drive to Philly for us, 2 hours drive to New York kind of thing. But at least we have things to see. This is by far one of the most boringest roads I have ever driven on. It's all swampland, obviously, because it's called Alligator Alley or Alligator Way. And it's like a fence on both sides. And all you see is swamp. It's like, it looks like the bayou. Swamp and a bunch of trees and bushes and things that grow there. But it's not a windy road. It's not a road with a, I mean, like the rest stops are few and far between. The exits are not really there. So if you are broken down there, you got to wait a long time for somebody to come and show up. And Lord willing, nothing comes out of the swamp to come and eat you. But it's like a straight road and that's it. There's nothing to see. It is. So when you're up from 2 o'clock in the morning and you already are on the plane and you've already traveled once that day and then you're traveling again, that was a struggle, you guys. That was a legit struggle. Me and Mr. Man were like dying. I was about to fall asleep. The kids were knocked out, obviously, but we obviously had to stay awake. This is actually really pretty, you guys. Very, very pretty. I'll see how long it lasts. Let me see if I can add just a tinge more since I blushed it out. Very pretty blush. And this brush, it's pretty good. I actually like it. So I also have this eyebrow. So we are going to use this eyebrow powder. I haven't used this in a while. So we're going to go ahead and use it. It's in the shade Apricot Rose. So I don't know. I guess it's a little bit more pinky. We're going to use a dark one because that's the only one that I can see that'll work for me. So we ended up driving 2.5 hours down to go surprise my grandmother. The night, and this was a total surprise for my aunt who is the caregiver for my grandmother. I have this mirror too, you guys, I'm going to use. I told her the day before we were leaving that there was going to be a package arriving because we arrived on a Sunday. So I told her, I said, it's going to be on a Sunday, but you need to sign for it because it's a Sunday, you know, it kind of made sense. And then she's like, oh, are you here? And I'm like, no, I'm going to go visit my sister and the baby, which was not a lie. I did. So I sent her pictures. So then she would see that I was still in Jersey. But because I knew I was flying the next day, I wanted to surprise them. I didn't want them to know that I was coming with the family on top of that. So I told my aunt she had to be home. And she's like, yeah, we'll be home. I said, okay, because I didn't want to drive all the way down there and then she wasn't home. So I told her, just be prepared. The package is coming. And she's like, okay, I'll be home. So we arrive at my aunt's house and I text her and I said, oh, I saw that the package arrived. Did you get it? And I didn't hear anything. So I'm like, crap. So I told Mr. Man, park the car. I'll go up to the door and we will surprise him. So I go to the door. I ring the doorbell and my aunt gets to the door and she's like, oh my gosh, you're here. I knew you were going to be here. So I explained to her, no, I really wasn't here yesterday. It wasn't a lie. I arrived this morning and we drove down. And she's like, you know, when I heard the doorbell ring, I figured it was the package that you told me we were going to get. So she kind of still believed me because I did send her pictures. She kind of did believe me. But as soon as I walked in and saw my grandmother, oh, this is actually pretty powder. I like it. Makes my eyebrows look nice, but I like this. So I'm going to put that down and I'm going to grab my brow gel. I really like that. So I walked in and my grandmother was there. And as soon as she heard my voice, her face just lit up. She knew exactly who I was. She knew that it was a surprise. Like she got it. So it melted my heart to know that she could still comprehend. Her brain is still there. Her mind is still there. It sucks when your body gives up, but your brain is still there. So she saw me and she started to laugh because that's all she could do when she's excited. Like that's her way of showing. So she started to laugh. She got all excited. So I helped my aunt bring her out to the living room for us. And then she saw my kids. And so Mr. Man and I have been together for 21 years. So she has known Mr. Man for that long too. So it was no surprise that when she saw him, she also got excited. So she saw him, she was excited, and she sat in her wheelchair as we were having conversations, and I could see her just processing everything. Seeing the kids, seeing how big they're grown. I was explaining to her, do you remember, this is so-and-so, this, and you could tell, like, she was just, like, observing and realizing how big the kids have gotten, that we were there. She was just, like, in awe. So it was a great surprise. I was hoping I didn't give anybody a heart attack by showing up, but it worked out in the end. We were so happy to be able to be there and see her and just spend time with her. That's all she wants, is just, when you get to a certain age, regardless of whether you are disabled or not, you just want to have companionship. So she was just happy that she got visitors, and it was special visitors, because it wasn't like just your normal people that were visiting her. All right, so we're going to use this palette. Because of my tan, I don't think these two colors, this one and this one, will work, or this one and this one will work well for me. So I'm going to stick to these 3 shades right here. That's why I wore a green shirt today, because I knew I was going to do this. So first we're going to grab this pink shade right here and buff it out. By the way, look at the imprints of this. Like, they really do a great job with it. Really good job. I really like this. This is called Fairy Melody. So this is pretty. See, look. That's pretty pigmented. So we're just going to put this in the crease gently. I'm not going to go too crazy, because you guys know I do not like to go too much in the summer. It's hot today and humid, because apparently the hurricane that hit while we were in Florida, and our flight got delayed, or not delayed, canceled, because of the hurricane, is now here in Jersey as rain. So apparently we have tornado watches today until 2 p.m. Normally the tornadoes are more on the beach side, so I'm not too concerned about us. And I have to go get my allergy shot. I haven't got my allergy shot, and I could feel it. Like, I'm not bad, but I can tell that I haven't gotten it. So anyway, back to my story. So we spent time with my grandmother, and we were there for a while, and then we had told her we'll come back, because it's a 2.5-hour drive from where we were staying. And the reason why we stayed in Fort Myers is because we have a friend who owns a house that Airbnbs it, and that's why we were staying at his house, or his family's house. So that's why I'm going to go into this green shade now, put it all over the lid. So we were staying at his house, and that's why we stayed in Fort Myers, or Cape Coral to be exact. So that's why we didn't stay in Miami. And I didn't want to stay in Miami. There was a lot of hustle and bustle there. I just wanted to be relaxed by the beach, not with a bunch of, youngings, or I wanted it to be more family oriented, because we had the family anyway. So we told my aunt that we would be back on another day. We would drive back down. We were more refreshed, so we can actually have a meal together, just spend time together, and just be. So that's what we did. So after we saw my grandmother, we went to go pick up my mother-in-law, who lives 20 minutes away from where my grandmother is, which is really nice, because if I need her to do anything or go to her and drop something off, I can, because she's only a 20-minute drive. It's typically 20 minutes, but with Miami traffic, it's probably like 40 minutes on a certain time. But it's the time that we arrived, because it was like midday, there was no traffic yet. So we actually did a good job with that, which it was accidental. It was just how it worked out. So anyway, we went to go pick up my mother-in-law. The kids were excited to see her. We were all excited to see her, and we asked her to drive. We're like, do you mind driving back the 2.5 hours? Because Mr. Man, at this point, Mr. Man and I had been up, or the kids kind of napped. Mr. Man and I did not nap. I think at this point, it was like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we were up already for like 14 hours on the go. So We ate dinner first. She took us out to dinner in the Miami area. And then she's like, yeah, I'll drive. I don't mind driving. So Mr. Man and I took the back row of the van. I put on my sunglasses and she drove all the way down, all the way up to Fort Myers or Cape Coral. And we were so grateful because let me tell you, Mr. Man and I fell asleep. I fell asleep hard. And I remember waking up to it pouring rain and then it stopped. And then I fell back asleep and then it poured rain again. So it's funny because I don't mind that kind of rain where it like just pops up and it just happens to be a rain. But it comes out heavy, let me tell you. Florida rain does come down heavy. So I did use these two shades. So I used these two right here. I am tempted to use this one. So let me see, maybe on top here. Oh, how pretty. That is pretty. Okay. So she drove all the way down and we get to Cape Coral and then we wake up, right? Because we're telling her where to go. And then all of a sudden she goes, the gas light has been on for a hot minute. And we're like, well, how long? She goes, well, I wasn't paying attention because I was paying attention to my speed. And I'm like, okay. So I was like, well, let's just go to the nearest gas station. So Mr. Man's like, no, we should make it to the house. Da, da, da. So I joke and say, because Mr. Man always does that. Whenever we're like low on gas, the light is on. He's like, no, we still got time. No, they don't. He is such a liar. So I was like, I'm in the back and I go, well, I said, guys, be prepared to push the car. As soon as I said that, she pushes on the gas and the car goes, do, 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 do. And she's like, oh no. She's like, we are going to get stuck. So I looked at Mr. Man and Mr. Man's like, well, Mom, why didn't you tell me that we were going to be low and get that? So she's a Floridian. She finds like one of those jug handles and just completely does a U-turn because we had just passed the gas station. Completely does a U-turn to get into the gas station. And I thought it was hilarious because I'm just like, I warned you guys because this is not the first time. I already know Mr. Man. So we ended up getting gas for the first time. Mr. Man had to come out and pump because we don't pump in Jersey. We're one of the only states that do not pump our gas. So that was another learning experience for us. I'm going to use this. This is a liquid highlighter, but it's more of like a, see that? It's like a glowy, but I'm going to use it as an inner corner highlight instead. I think this will be really pretty as an inner corner highlight and it'll match with what we're doing today. Oh my gosh, look how pretty. Look at that. I like this. If my daughter finds out about this, she's going to take it from me. Because she loves these inner corner highlights, glowy stuff. Look at that. It like shifts red. That's pretty. Very pretty. Oh, I put too much on the bottom. All right, time for a mascara. So anyway, we learned how to pump the gas. We all arrive at the house. And of course our kids have napped. So they're not super tired. So we all take showers. We see, we start messing around in the house to see how things are working. We call our friend because he has a renting company that does everything for him and it's all in German. The TV was in German. Apparently a lot of Germans, correct me if I'm wrong, like to go to Fort Myers for vacation. So there was like German books in his house. The TV's in German. I'm like, do you have cable? If not, we're just going to shut this off. So I'll tell the kids to do something else. And he's like, no, I do. He told us what to hit buttons to hit. He told us how to work. This house had so many switches for everything. Everything was a switch. And little did I know that Florida doesn't have gas. Everything's electric. So I was not too fond of the electric stove. I am a gas girl. I am a gas stove kind of girl. And that was a learning curve because we did cook in the house. But that was a learning curve. And my friend who moved to Fort Myers, we did get to spend time with her. She also didn't like that. It took her a while. It took her a while to get used to that. So I have two lip products here that they sent me. This one is a lip gloss that I think I might use today because of the color of my eyes. And this is the lip product right here. This one is called Midsummer Night. So this one looks like that, but I think this is too much for this eye look, but it's really pretty. So we're going to use this one very lightly, which is this one right here, which is called Little Flower Fairy. Oh, very nice. It's a very flimsy paddle, but it is pretty. Look at that. I think this will work really nice. Feels like a lip oil with color. Kind of dig it. Kind of dig it. I really like how that feels. And it brightened up my face. It really did brighten up my face. So I like it. Really nice look. I kind of like it. I'll let you guys know how everything wears throughout the day so then you guys know. So that is my Florida trip. The flight was nice. On the way home, on the way there, the flight was nice. They sat us all wonky, so we asked the passengers if they could like switch seats with us so we can sit with our kids. Little miss slept the whole time. Actually, all 3 kids slept the whole flight there as well. I couldn't sleep because I was in a middle seat and one kid was laying on my lap, and then I had a stranger sitting next to me who was very nervous at flying, so she kept talking to me, so I couldn't really fall asleep, which was fine, you know, I don't mind. But the flight there was one of the smoothest rides I had ever been on a plane. Yeah, I didn't feel any of the jolting. I didn't feel any trembling. I didn't feel any, like, I mean, it was the best flight. I loved it. I am for a early morning flight like that. If flights at 5 o'clock in the morning are like that, I would always pick a 5 o'clock flight because that was awesome. On the way home was a different story. But that was our very first day in Florida, you guys. It was a lot for one day, 24 hours. We ended up going to bed at 11 o'clock. I mean, we were exhausted that day, but I was happy that we made it. We were able to see the people that we wanted to see that first day. And then the rest of the 10 days we were there, it was a lot of fun. So I'll tell you guys more about it. I just wanted to tell you guys about the first day there because the first day was very eventful. As you guys can see, it took the whole time me doing my makeup to tell you guys about that day. I really liked it, you guys. So anyway, so any of the makeup products, I will link down in the description box. I do have a link to Flower Nose. As always, you guys, check them out. Click on the link and check them out. That's all that I ever ask for. If you want to purchase something, that's awesome. The link, I believe, is affiliated to me. So if you do purchase anything, I thank you very much. If not, that's okay. Even just clicking that link helps me out tremendously. It's because of you guys I'm able to do this. They did send me duplicates of certain things, so I have saved them for a giveaway coming up soon. So stay tuned for that because I did get a duplicate of the highlighter. I did get a duplicate of certain things. So you will be in the running for certain things, you guys, which is really, really cool. I like doing that for you guys, especially when I can share things that I'm gifted, because not only is it I get these things because of what I'm doing, but it's because of you guys too. So I always want to give back. So I have a nice pack, a nice little box full for you guys that's coming. So I'm holding off because I'm getting more things and I'm throwing more things in there for you guys. So anyway, anything you need to know will be linked down in the description box. If you want me to continue to tell you about my Florida trip, that was only day 1. I have 10 more days to tell you about that were very eventful. Let me tell you, my whole time was very eventful. We did have a lot of fun, but every day was something new. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Check the description box for the link. That's all that I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much. I have a lot of catching up to do, so you're going to see quite a few videos coming up because I'm late on a lot of stuff. All right, guys, that's all that I have. Thank you guys. More videos on the screen for you, and until then,